Okay, now we're going to go ahead and look at your grip strength. So we're going to use this dynamometer, and I'm going to have you hold it just like this and just squeeze as hard as you can with one hand, okay? Make sure it's reset. Here you go. And make sure your elbow is at 90 degrees and your shoulder. Go ahead and squeeze hard, harder, hardest. All right? Good job. And go ahead and try one more time. Hard, harder, hardest. Okay. And one more time. Hard, harder, hardest. Thank you. Now we're going to go ahead and do your left hand. Same thing. Squeeze hard, harder, hardest. Okay. Hard, harder, hardest. All right. And one more time with that left hand. Squeeze hard, harder, hardest. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and switch to our pinch strength. So there's 3 different pinches we'll be checking, and we'll do each 3 times just to make sure we get the proper strength. So the first one is the lateral pinch. It's also called key pinch, and you'll go ahead and put your thumb across your finger just like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do using this gauge. Go ahead and squeeze hard, harder, hardest. Okay. Squeeze hard, harder, hardest. Excellent. And one more time with that hand. Squeeze hard, harder, hardest. All right, thanks. Okay, now we'll go ahead and do your left hand. Same thing with that key pinch. Hard, harder, hardest. All right. Hard, harder, hardest. Okay. One more time. Hard, harder, hardest. Thank you. Now we'll go ahead and do what is called a 3-jaw chuck. So you'll put your pointer and your middle finger and with your thumb, just like that, touching the pads. Okay. I'll start with that right hand. Squeeze hard, harder, hardest. Thank you. Okay. Hard, harder, hardest. All right. And hard, harder, and hardest. Okay, now let's do that left hand. Same thing, that 3-jaw chuck. Pinch it hard, harder, hardest. Okay. Go ahead, pinch hard, harder, hardest. There you go. And hard, harder, hardest. All right. Now we're going to do what's called a tip-to-tip pitch. Just use these 2 fingers just like that. All right, we'll do that right hand. Pinch it hard, harder, hardest. Okay, one more time. Hard, harder, hardest. Great. And we'll go ahead and do hard, harder, hardest. Okay. Now let's try that left hand. Hard, harder, hardest. Pinch, all right. Go ahead and try that again. Pinch, hard, harder, hardest. Okay. Pinch one more time, hard, harder, hardest. Excellent. Okay, thanks very much. We're going to move on to the next task now. Now we're going to go ahead and do some measurements to check for edema and swelling in your wrists and hands, okay? So we're going to start by just taking a measurement of the circumference of your wrist, just going around. Is 5.5. Okay. And now I'm going to do what's called a figure 8 measurement. So I'm going to go ahead and start here, and we're going to come across and through the fingers, and then across to make that X, but then around to make the 8. This is 8.5, so it's 38.5. Okay, now we'll go ahead and do the other wrist. Start off with that circumference of the wrist. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do the same thing over here. Across the fingers, make the X, and come around to this measurement. 38. All right, thank you.